Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping. Today we're continuing the famous Masterclass series here on Green Aqua, and we have none other than Juan Puchades here today with us, and he is going to give us a great lecture about, the title is Challenge Yourself, Create Something Memorable. As you probably know, Juan is the judge of many international aquarium contests. He did the AGA, Aquatic Gardeners Association contest in the US for many years. He did 7 times the Brazilian contest, the French contest, the Hungarian Aquascaping contest, among others. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Juan Puchades. Where's Juan? What's happening? Juan, did you see Juan? Oh, come on. Sorry, I gotta go get him. Juan, what are you doing?
I'm judging a contest.
People are waiting for you. Come on.
Really?
Let's go.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Come on. Hi all. I'm so sorry.
Welcome to Green Aqua.
Thanks so much, Balazs.
I already told them that you are one of the main judges for many aquascaping contests throughout the world, but I didn't tell the viewers, but those who were watching the video last week know that you are also a very successful contestant yourself. So hopefully you are going to combine your knowledge in aquascaping as a contestant with great results with your experience as a judge, so you can have the unique eyesight, unique perspective of a judge, so you can teach us how to win the contest, right?
No. Because if we are talking about the EAPLC, I have never been even close to win it.
That's not true. Rank number 7 is really close.
Well, not as close as I want.
Well, actually, before I just leave you, because I don't want to, take a lot of time, they say that anybody who is actually in the top 27 at IAPSC is already a winner, and the chances to win for anybody in the top 27, and how many times were you there? I know. So, ladies and gentlemen, Juan Puchades.
First of all, thanks so much for being here. My honor and my pleasure, as I said in the last video. I was gonna be here 2 years ago, but now I'm here, and I really feel now I feel I can share with you all, and I feel I understand a bit better about aquascaping in last 2 years. That means that we are always increasing our level, increasing our knowledge. That's the way it should be, right? You know, we had that really successful workshop by Josim. He's the great master. He's the great champion, right? He teaches us many successful techniques. This is how we are going to start from him. And let's say, what can I tell to you? How can I will try. Whatever I'm going to say is not the truth. It's just how I feel it, okay? How I imagine when I have all the photos of a contest that I have to judge, what I really want to see. That is what I'm gonna try to give to you all, right? So I feel it's gonna be a high level aquascaping, I feel. Many of you maybe are not interested in contest, but in any case, you are interested in analyzing and enjoying a great work of art, because we need to understand that we are creating art. So with this, let's start and let's enjoy it. You see, today I'm not joking. I'm not as fun. Yesterday I tried to, and today I'm wearing glasses, because today I am a teacher, just for once in Aquascaping, and you are my students, just for that. I call it memorable, how to create memorable things, right? Memorable art, memorable tanks that we will remember 5, 10 years after you see it for the first time, right? I don't know if you know this national challenge for the EAPLC is nothing official. It's just an average of the best 5 scapers of every country in their placement. So they just give the sum of all 5 and then they divide it by 5 and then you have a score of each country. This was 3 years ago. Look at what Josim said about us, about the Spanish aquascapers. It was great. He said, Spanish layouts are beautiful and marvelous. But can you pinpoint a Spanish layout that you can vividly remember? No one. We didn't have yet that goal, I feel. It's not just a question of skills. You're going to understand why, right? So this was my pinpoint to create something better. And for me, better is something memorable. These are some of the last Spanish work or Iberian works, and I feel all those 3 tanks are memorable for different reasons, right? This is so realistic, also with a huge execution of the glass mirror technique. That work is for a teammate for me this year. It's so mysterious, it has this great atmosphere, and also is so natural. I also feel that tank will be remembered as a good way to create something in the darkness, but full of details. You will check it. Maybe in the screen it's a bit too much dark. In the real photo it's not so, but it's marvelous atmosphere. And then mine, because I have to place it, because here I am. Oh, I'm joking. So, as I told you, just create the greatest lecture I've ever seen. I am sure nobody will create something like this in the early future. I really think so. For sure, don't wait that for me. Or maybe yes, let's see it. This has 1.3 million views. You have to realize that now everybody knows this. Everybody with higher or less skills, but know everything about technique, right? So what we need now is to understand that we need something else. Let's take a look. What is that? What is else? We are going to share the contest with so many contestants, more than 2,000. It's huge quantity of people. And even, you know, I'm sure at least 200 or 300 of them know perfectly and highly skilled guys and ladies that know about technique, almost everything. Maybe just in stone arrangement, maybe just in driftwood, but they are so skilled and so talented. I'm sure at least 200-300 people. So we need something to keep the top 100. I feel this is the goal that everybody that is starting passionate in the contest should want to achieve at least once. And then once you are there, you need to go. This is step by step, right? The 100. Remember, we are more than 200 or 300 people trying to achieve this. I'm sure more people, right? I always see in the media, my goal, I would like to be in the top 100. This year I've been 222. I'm really happy. I'm super excited. But I want more because many of us, we are quite competitive. Maybe not as yours, but we are competitive. So how can we get this, the honor prizes? This is what is going to be my lecture. What can we do now that we know how to do the technique? What else should a winning aquarium have? Let me start with this sentence. It's from an artist, an American artist. I read it in Spanish, and here you have it. When a work of art is great, remember, we are doing art. You find meaning, emotion, and for sure, some kind of mysterious, right? And that is exactly what we are looking for when we are analyzing contest tanks. This is one of her works. I feel you, so big, so high, it arises to you, so clear. So, what do these works have? Why these guys are into the top 9? There are many reasons. And being here does not say that these are the best works of the year, but at least there have been the best works for the judges. This is my real opinion about what should be a winning tank, right? A winning aquarium must be similar to a good advertisement. Now we are surrounded by advertising daily. Now, if we see an advertisement that is nothing else for us, we forget it just in a minute. It must create feelings in the viewers. We need to understand then another series of concepts, not just about technique. They are typical of advertisement. So that is what I'm trying to study in the last year and trying to give to you today, now, in Green Aqua. We must understand that our photography must be a magazine cover that you will never forget. Like this. It's simple, it's clear, has an atmosphere, it's something that we want to be there. Let's check why we like this. These are the characteristics of a memorable advertisement. It's defined, it's direct and emotional, it's shocking, wow, it's striking, it's located in time, we will explain it. It's non-ordinary, then it's new. It's coherent and balanced. It has huge quality, and it's truthfulness. Don't you consider all these things can be perfectly adapted to an aquascaping work? I think so, and that's why I'm going to explain during this hour. Define it. All the photos you're going to see about nature were done by Masashi Ono-san. Here I say thank you so much, Masashi, for these photos. Define it. Then we have to do a question to ourselves before starting. What do I want to represent? And then we are going to talk about the importance, the relevance of the idea and a concept, natural feeling. We need to have natural feeling in our works, at least in the EAPLC. I told you in the last video that I spent many times thinking about what I'm going to do. These are both in the coast of Spain and Portugal. This is El Algarve. This is in the north of Spain, La Playa de las Catedrales, Cathedrals Beach, right? Take a look. This is what I did. It has, you know, some similarities, right? I am not trying to reproduce this, but this helped me to create, right? Like the whole of El Algarve, it's over here then with the ray of light that is coming from the up of the tank, right? Like these structures that really are similar to what you can see in the north of Spain, right? And also for sure the window that you have there. And then I try to think, how can I do something in the back, right? I will explain it in a different video. But also, I use some images from, I'm a Catholic guy, and you see about the cathedrals, right? The arcs that they represent into a church or into a cathedral. I tried to have it also. So that's why I created this kind of curves, right? This was absolutely the most challenging for my contest contestant this year, trying to achieve that curve without falling everything down. It was not easy at all, but there's a secret that I will share with you all in the next video. The third thing that inspires me, the masters, past masters. It must be new, at least not similar, not extraordinarily similar, but for sure I take many ideas and many inspiration of Mr. Fuchades-san, right? He also was here. That's why I'm so glad to be here, because this is Green Aqua, and just extraordinary guys have been here. I really don't know why I'm here. This is not from Fuchades-san, this is for Vietnamese Aquascapers. Sorry, I really don't remember now the name of him. Sorry, this was second in the 18. Natural feeling. Please take a look of this tank. It's not from the EAPLC, it's EAC contest. For me, it's extraordinary natural. It achieved the first place this year. And why I show you? Because of this. It's this guy, Harry Chen, super talented guy. He doesn't know that I am talking about him now. Right at this post, he did. It's amazing. Eternal.
Minh Truan Nguyen, the second place.
Minh Truan Nguyen, sorry. And thank you so much for creating this. And also, you know, this booklet is almost impossible to find right now. So I'm going to keep it with me. It's right, it's impossible to find it. Now, serious again. Two things I'm trying to focus on. Key point of aquascaping trend in these years is tension. And I agree with this structure that coming to you, it's creating a feeling to you, right? And I'm gonna go back. This is creating a great feeling to you. So, the first time you see it as a judge, you know that time you are gonna take it and throw it directly to the best 10 works, for sure. In the American contest, there are 700 tanks. In the Japanese contest, 2,600 tanks. Do you really consider we are persons like you, like me? It's impossible to analyze all those huge number of tanks. At least you spend 5 months. So what you need? Something to catch the attention as quick as possible, right? He understood it perfectly. Tension. And the second, and really important, natural feeling. Natural feeling. And you can see his inspiration. This is the first thing we have to think about. What do we want to represent? And then thinking about our idea, how we are going to build that idea, and that idea should be together with natural feeling. First thing, I think it's so important. Let's go to the second. Direct and emotional. I have been talking about emotions, right? I feel everything is about emotions in art. Maybe you like it, maybe me not. But if there's an emotion, for sure many people will like. Second question, I like to find an answer. What do you want to express? And I focus on 3 things. What do I want? That my viewer will feel calm, maybe, tension. It should be easy to understand. Josh said it really clearly, this thing. If 99% of people understand it, then you have success. If not, even it's great, you are not gonna have success. This thing is so important, and many people does not take matter about it, the title. Because the title is the most important thing of the tank, I promise you. Because it's telling to the judge a tip of what do you want to express, what is behind, how is your idea, right? And we're gonna do some examples, then you will understand it. I don't know if you have seen it. This is one of the latest videos of ADA View. It was talking with the 2 Japanese judges, Mr. Sogo Yagabuchi-san and Oma-san. They were analyzing the top 7 works of this year. And finally, after analyzing them, they did a final speech where the question was, what do you want to see in the next year contest? And please take a look. I want more like creators' feelings. I really want to see works that make me feel the energy. Regardless of people's hearts, I want to see what they are trying to express in their words. Finally, instead of thinking about how to combine techniques and show off techniques, they said technique is okay, for sure, it's needed, but they really wish the EAPLC is not gonna be just a technique contest. This video was released last week. The presentation was done 3-4 weeks ago. So once I saw it, I said, yes, I feel I am on the way. And I think this is good for the contestants to think about it. Then so it's exactly what they want to receive next year. Remember that guy? Eternal tension, natural feeling. It's exactly what they want. Simple and easy to understand. Ancient tree. So easy to understand. So emotive. Highly skilled, for sure. It's Mr. Jojo Prayogi. Maybe the most skilled guy playing with driftwood, right? He's from Indonesia. This is a wonderful, amazing piece of art from Stephen Chung, another great guest of Green Aqua. But this tank couldn't achieve his goal, his own goal. He wants to win the EAPLC, and I really think it's great. But he did a video also analyzing why he thinks he has not been as successful as he wants. I also recommend it to you in his YouTube channel, Stephen Chung.
We will link that in the description.
Thanks so much. First time I saw this tank, it was before the release of the results. I said, wow. My very first feeling was, wow, I love that snowy feeling, like mountains with snow. But then after some minutes, I take it again, I was just looking at my cell phone, I saw it and I said, no, for sure not. This is a cold river, and exactly what is Stephen wanted to recreate. What is the difference? I do have to check it more than once to understand that he was doing a very cold river. Maybe this is just to very clever people to understand it for the really first moment, and I was not. And remember the words of Josh, we are doing art for everybody, not just for judges. So this is my example of what is great, but not as easy to understand as the other work that achieved the grand prize. So it's a complex concept called Mountain River that I thought it was a snow landscape for the first time, and I know that many others too, like I see in here. Another thing for me, it was he take huge risk with the color, with the string color, going so cold colors to achieve his idea, to get the atmosphere, right? We're gonna talk about color, but I feel he went a bit far away. This video is so interesting. Mr. Oma-san was analyzing the work number 2, the gold prize. The reason why I choose this work as best aquarium was its title. The title! Why the title? Storming is this tank. Do you all know this tank? If not, please check it, stop the video, check it. You have already done it? Right, let's go. The fishes are running away like a scared in a really fast movement from the back, like they are really running away from the storm. And you can see it just from the beginning, okay? Also, it's in the video. In the surface of the reflection, you cannot see here. It's like it's raining, similar than it's raining. That was huge effect, right? And also, if you see the structure, like this huge fallen tree, all how it moves over there, you are feeling the fast movement, you are feeling the environment of this work of art. I feel so, at least. And that's why the title, when I saw the title, the word storm or storming, remember me, a storm above the water. It's absolutely creating the feeling in the judge what he's wanting to express. That's what the title is also so important. So it must be simple. And it's so important the story behind the biggest, the greatest works of every year. Let's go to number 3. I love this photo. First time I saw it, I say, wow, I really love it. He's a master of photography for sure, even an aquascaping master. Do you want to play again? Yeah. Do you? Yeah. Let's go. I'm gonna show you some photos, all taken by Masashi Ono-san. It's exactly the same place. I want you to choose just one. The one that you consider is the best one to create an aquascape. A, 1. B, C, D, E, 5, F. Let's go again. A, B, C, D, E, F. No more time. 6, F, 5, E, 6, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 5. 3. For sure for you. It's great. 5, I agree. 6, I could agree. The others, I do not agree. Because of what? Why we are almost all choosing this one or this one? My dear friend, he is coming from Greece to be here with us. Thank you so much for coming. Tell me, wait.
Because of depth.
You said F or E? 5 or 6?
6.
6, okay, let's go here. Because of depth, one reason. Something else?
Because of the flow of the stream.
Because of the flow of the stream, right. Something else? Could you help me? One word. You like the?
E1, not
E.
this one, the previous
Okay.
one.
Why?
I like how the colors match down to the soil. I also appreciate the shadow behind the
Shadow.
trees.
Great.
And there is a contrast to that because of the whitening on the top.
The contrast with the top. So you are talking also about vanishing point, right?
Also focus points. They have different focus points, at least maybe 3 or 4.
This is the picture that has better composition. It's all about composition. We have a huge element in here. It's the main point, right? It's gonna catch our attention from the very beginning. And also we have a huge and really nice shadow, full of details, but with shadow. Then you say we have perspective. We have a clear vanishing point, right? We have many different layers. So if we talk about composition, I think for me this one or even this one are great. Please.
Yeah, to the last picture, number 6 or E. It's quite contrary because in the front there's a tree, that massive tree, and it's like an island. Like it's pretty silent and there's something quiet, you know, like it's not a lot of motion, it's stable. And the river is kind of the flow, like it got so much energy and combined, it's very interesting. That's why I like the depth is great and all the things, but this is the most what catches me. Like it got so much energy in.
Have you seen my lecture before? It's the first time I'm doing it. It's great your comment. And number 4, we are going to talk about statics and dynamics. And it's exactly what you said.
what I really like about this image is near to the focal point, the stream goes left and right,
Yeah.
so as the bottom, so it's like an X. And each
Absolutely.
segment, if you imagine the X, creates the shadowy area. So it's like a puzzle perfectly put together.
That is why I really think this is the best photo to have as an inspiration for an aquascaping contest. I love your comment, Mary. Great. But is the impact a matter of compositional characters only? Do we have, another question, do we have other ways to create impact? I think so. Let's check it. How to get impact? Composition technique, for sure. Just told everything about this. Light and atmosphere. Many of you have thought about it, right? So it's not just composition. We will talk about them, the moment, and for sure there are story behind and emotions that we have already talked about. This is like an evolution of my works. These are just the last ones that I did with Driftwood. From here to here, I feel there are two really different things. First of all is the composition impact with bigger elements, but finally the most important is the atmosphere. And in this case, the atmosphere was achieved thanks to the color that we are going to talk about. The moment is telling you when you're gonna start a trip. I try in my tanks, I say the last two titles were Twilight and Origin Downlights, right? I am trying to transport my viewers to that moment, that they are feeling that, okay, we are in the early morning, right? Or we are last hours of the day or first hours of the day, right? And also with the fishes that create a moment, what is happening there, right? When I saw the title, the word storm, storming remind me the storm, right? In here, I tried to achieve exactly the same moment, that all the fishes are going to run away because this is the twilight, the last hours of the day. They're getting scared, they want to go to their home. So that is what I try to do here. I feel this guy did it better than me. This is why he's second, and I've been 17, I think, last year. Let's talk about the fourth thing, striking. Please remember, we are just one of 2,000. We need something to catch the attention of all the judges. Fourth question, what kind of atmosphere do I want? And how can I achieve it? With scenic atmosphere, we have seen some works, and we are going to talk now about that, with color, and for sure, with lights and shadows. Is this dynamic or static? Dynamic, right? Super dynamic. I will say, like the winner of the IAC, it's too exaggerated. Is that the word? It's maybe too much, but this is what catches our attention, right? He was the grand prize winner 2 years ago. And this is static or dynamic? I feel it's much more static, but usually it's always combined. And also we need to have the contrast, as you said. It's really important to have both. But let's talk about them separately. And then you will see that almost all the tanks have both. And that's not bad at all. Static composition seeks balance or certain order, right? Which concepts we will see? Symmetry, equilibrium, predictability, and permanence in time. What kind of feelings we are gonna have seeing static elements? Calm, tranquility, kind of harmony. I feel in here we don't feel the calm, right? we don't feel harmony. But we can win the EAPLC with calm and harmony for sure, almost in the nature aquarium style. The image that uses static composition, we perceive them as beautiful. They are pleasing to us. This is mostly static, but it has also an elegant dynamism. This is the winner of the Reflower contest this year. I'm in love with this tank, really in love, because this guy has demonstrated that you can win an international contest with nature aquarium, with really natural feeling. Title is clearly focusing us that this guy has tried to create the right environment for those fishes. Don't you agree? I am sure that this style is loved by everybody. Maybe you prefer diorama, something more impact, but this is so natural. Every nature lover will fall in love with this tank. That is why I showed to you. And I feel, I really, you know, we are feeling every moment, every time, with the best works. This is what I need you to get in mind. That is what we are looking for. Take a look at the comment of one of the judges, Frederick Fuss. This is by far the design that impressed me the most at this year's contest. This is not a powerful landscape design with a string deep effect. Instead, what has been done here with minimalist dexterity and with a lot of love for the basic idea of natural feeling. The room layout and arrangement are not subject to the dictates of current fashion, but arise from a genius spirit and outstanding artistic creativity. We all are artists. We need to understand this. We need to feel. The design looks peaceful and silent at the same time, dynamic and static at the same time. It is very difficult to pack so much expression and lightness into a design that is so simple. Nothing is too much, nothing is too little here. The best I've seen in a long time. And one thing I want you to know is if you are passionate in contests, nowadays you have a lot of information in the comments of the judges. Please love to analyze them. You will learn a lot. This contest was released, I feel, 10 days ago or 15 days ago. And please take a look at the jury comment. It's exactly about what we are talking today. We are not talking about technique, right? So important. And then dynamism, dynamic composition. Which concepts are we going to see in there? Asymmetry, instability, wow, tension, you know? Unpredictable extremes. We have talked about these two feelings, tension and contrast, right? That's the wild style. That's where Joachim is the master. Images that use a dynamic composition have more energy, more strength, more emotion. But you know what? Nowadays, everybody is going this way because Josh created his greatest masterpiece, the workshop he did here. That's, for me, no doubt, the biggest thing that we, the whole community, have to learn. Analyzing Joachim lecture. And maybe then, if you want, you can see mine. It will be not bad at all. And then another way to have striking, I really love this tank. The greatest contrast that we can see thanks to a very thoughtful use of lighting. This is not casualty. He thought a lot how to achieve this, how the waves should reflect the light, and for sure how the shadow should be. I don't know if you see it in the screen, but if you check the photo, I promise you that there are huge number of details in every shadow, and that is master. Please take a look what Josh said in the last Spanish contest. This tank is the actual Spanish champion, this work. I really love it. The use of the shadow, it's perfect. What I like most is shadow is not totally dark. You can see many details in it. More, this design, it has not super impact. It's not scared. You don't feel scared, right? In reality, it's calm. You feel comfortable, right? At the same time, it's mysterious. That gives a huge impact. Most of the designs create the strongest impact thanks to huge driftwood or stone at the beginning. But the design achieved huge impact just with the use of the atmosphere. And that is marvelous. Now you understand why I'm showing you this like we are doing today. We can achieve great impact, natural feeling for sure, without a huge element here. I feel it's much easier with a huge element, but this guy is so talented, so skilled, and also he has huge experience. He has been, like me, from more than 12 years ago, working on aquascaping. And now I feel we are starting to understand this. This is what, in the last 1.5 years, I am trying to get deep into it. And that is why I'm showing to you now. And I'm sure that because I'm seeing what judges are saying, that this is a way that we have to understand to achieve the best.
You mentioned the different shades of darkness, but what also strikes me is because there's a focal point that's very, very bright, almost cold. And as you come to the forward, not just the path he created with the hardscape elements, but look at the light. Warm but light green in the front, a bit lighter green towards the middle. So even the light
is going from the front to the back, changing.
And I had never seen this.
You don't know how much time this guy has been thinking about how to achieve that effect. And it's amazing. How to use the right color. It's almost green, right? There's no yellow. Well, yeah, it's a bit of yellow in this area and some reds, but it's almost a green atmosphere, right? Green is associated with nature. Green is the color that says to us, you are seeing something natural. You see it in nature. For sure, we have reds. We have oranges in the autumn, yellow. But the color our mind told to us, this is natural, it's green. And you see, he has combined it perfectly with blue, because blue talks about water, right? Blue is so refreshing, it's calm. So the combination of these two colors create a supernatural atmosphere. Is this extremely defined? No. I should say this is something not realistic at all. It's something magical. But I cannot see in here, okay, this is a river, this is a forest. I don't have a very clear theme, but it's so magical, so unrealistic, but precious, so beautiful, right? And the atmosphere is achieved thanks to the greens, and this is so important in blue. If you just use a light like this to have orange, the tank should be absolutely different. I am unsure, then it will not be a masterpiece. It's so important to think about the colors. Like this one. Is this very, how to say it, underwater? Thanks of this. If you don't have this, it could feel like terrestrial. right? Just thinking about the use of color. Black, so risky, the use of black, but so amazing in this tank. This is Josh's tank, third of the world. For Josh, not much. He's 7 times world champion. Black gives us 2 different feelings. Mysterious, maybe scary, right? But also elegance. And in here, black is creating us the atmosphere. It's creating us also the moment during the night. Have you seen many tanks that have the moment of the night? Also dark. It's great to have the underwater feeling. My work. Remember the title, Origin Downlights. When I'm using the word origin, I am trying to focus you all to something that was created hundreds of years ago. I am talking about how the eroded elements were created thanks to the water, right? It was just a study of what kind of elements we can achieve with the erosion of the water. I studied it from the Cathedral's beach and also the Algarve and some other photos, and then I mix it all together. But downlights, I really wanted to create that feeling. That is why I use yellow plants in the back. Also, for sure, I use some light to achieve a greater feeling of yellow and orange, right? And why yellow and orange? Because it's so energetic. Now I really feel I did many mistakes in this tank. If I had to rebuild it, I will change many elements, but at least I feel I could send the energy of the tank to the viewer.
What would you change?
Not now. Next video, I will tell many things about what I think it's not completely well done in here. This position, higher, bigger. First, many other things. You need to understand red, because if you use it correctly, you are gonna get high and high. If you use it incorrectly, you are gonna be so low. So the use of red is really risky. If you use red, your eyes are gonna go directly to the red color. So what the Brazilians many times do in this masterpiece is they learn from the from Takashi that they should place red around the big element, around where you want to transport your viewer, right? That is why Luca just placed it a spot of red. You see it? Just a spot of red in there, because here is where you are going to focus your eyes for the beginning. So this is a marvelous use of red. But be careful. This, it's from a great aquascaper, but for my feeling, it's too much. I know we find reds in nature, but for me, where do I focus? And this, for me, is the great masterpiece of color in aquascaping. This time was 4 years ago. Why I think so? Because I feel it's so studied how the reds combine with the oranges and how do they develop to the yellows and then to the greens. And how is you have it almost in here, but you have the yellow, the orange, the red also in here and in here to balance both. You're gonna check this before, and then you will look around the tank and then you will finally see this, but it's balanced, right? And why I feel it's masterful? Because of this. It's a perfect use of the analog colors. If I came back to this is green, this is magenta. Too much contrast, too much contrast. Please, he's using red, He's using different oranges. He's using yellow, dark green, and light green. But you don't feel this is something like a painting with many colors. No, this is absolutely natural. And he's using all the palette of colors, right? This is because Luca understands perfectly the chromatic circle of the analog colors. Another thing you can study, you can find information, it's so easy, but so difficult to master. Located in time. Nice discussion, terrestrial versus submerged. Nowadays, into the contest, we live into the submerged moment of life. It's that way. I love terrestrial works. I also want to see terrestrial works. But in contest, they prefer underwater feeling. If you like to do terrestrial and you want to, it's perfect. I'm going to show you 2 tanks of this year EAPLC terrestrial work that I'm in love with them. But if you want to go for contest and to achieve the top 27, maybe you have to go submerged. This is much more a terrestrial feeling, right? This is much more submerged feeling. We understand it, right? It's true that our eyes are used to see terrestrial. It's not many people dives, right? Not many people lives in the river, inside the river. I hope nobody, right? So for us to understand is easier if we try to use some terrestrial elements, but then we give them a wet status. And why? Just because of this. The EAPLC recreation of natural habitat for fish is 50 points. Maximum is 100 points. So, just the half of the average of the score is just recreation of the natural habitat for fish. And a mountain is not the habitat of a fish. This is Ludo Bourdin, amazing work. I love it. I really love it. If you have the opportunity, please take this photo in high resolution and start analyzing how he has done the planting. I'm in love with that. I'm really in love with that. All with the planting is what I really like about this work. But these 2 works are too much terrestrial. There's no wet feeling in there. That is why also even amazing tanks, they are not in the first places for my thinking, right? Maybe it's not like this, but if you think on this, you have the proof. 50% of the score is natural habitat for fish. So, how to achieve the wet status? I showed to you, come on, how to achieve the wet status. In the other video, we were talking a bit about the wet status while we were creating this tank, my tank in the gallery. So happy about that. How to achieve the wet status?
In those pictures, you have shown us the fish either not visible or play a secondary role.
Absolutely.
And that alters the feeling of, okay, we are submerged. While in the storm and in your previous work where you managed to fish or ordered the fish to swim in straight lines.
It's a long history. I tried to do it. I was alone at home, all the lights down. I had, I don't know the name in English, I was scaring them for at least 1 month. And this kind of fish, they always swim in the upper region. So when I bought them, it was the first time I had them. Why I wanted blue-eye Kili? Because of twilight. Twilight, vampires, the eyes, cats, the eyes, the animals. When you go through the forest, you just see, you cannot see an animal because everything is dark, but you see their eyes, right?
Yes.
That is why I used that fish. They were all in the upper region. I said, okay, my idea is nice. Nobody's going to understand it. I think nobody understood it. If I don't explain it, that it was complex, is not the idea. Easy to understand. But I found the way to scare them, and then they were really scared and they go like poof, but you had just a second. And I tried more than 1,500 different photos until I achieved that photo.
But in these photographs and Josh Sims with the angelfish, the animals added to the story, added to the feeling, and I think that's very important.
Same tank, same atmosphere. Without Altums, I'm sure that tank will not be third of the world silver prize. I completely agree with you. That is why we have to think also in fish selection. I will talk about it just a little. The theme is so important. Do you remember habitat? It's just the theme. It's okay, it's absolutely underwater. Planting techniques, we are going to talk. The perspective angle, nobody thinks about it. It's not the same if I see this tank from here that if I see it from here. From here I feel it's much more underwater. And in my tank of this year, it's not a frontal view. Please check it now. When I saw the hardscape in a frontal, and then in the final photo, my camera was placed a bit down and a bit up to create that sensation that I am a fish and all the cliffs are up me. Angle is so important, and now that you know this, please take a look at the winners. Almost all cameras a bit down, and the angle is from down to up. The use of reflections in the top, really important, as Storming did masterfully. Color atmosphere, fish selection, position, and movement. You say it to us. There's nothing else to explain. You did it great. This tank has the theme, the planting technique. This is only possible underwater. This shape of leaf, this is absolutely underwater. And the fishes. Fishes in here create the atmosphere, create the story. This is a perfect habitat for those fishes. The use of atmosphere. I told to you, without these colors in here, this will not be wet. The use of hanging Monte Carlo has softened these huge elements. So that is a technique to create wet status. The use of Ricadia also, where it was? It was a bit over here, also a bit over here. Maybe over there everything is Monte Carlo, it's not. There's Ricadia too. That is helping us to create the wet status. All is wet in reality in this tank. But it's a forest. But the use of mosses is masterfully. The use of greens and blacks is masterfully done. We can see this in a forest, right? But the plants, it's perfect. The reflection in here makes you feel, okay, it's a flooded forest. Great, then now I understand it. The atmosphere for them is perfect. In this case, Jojo didn't need it, the fishes, to achieve the grand prize, because of all of the rest is almost perfect. Mr. Sogo Yamaguchi-san said this. There were no way to reduce the points, right? He didn't find anything to say, okay, I'm going to reduce. He's going to lose some points in this area and this other area. Also, he said this was his best tank in the contest, but not at the beginning. You know, it's another way. He saw it, he liked it, he selected as top 10, but once he was analyzing it, he understood there were no mistakes. No mistakes, so it started to upgrade. Finally, he understood he needed to place this tank as the best, and he finally achieved a huge score. It's like 300 points more than the second. So this was the best tank, with no doubt, in the contest for the judges. Reflection. Great use of reflection. Great use of softening the great elements. Many people have talked about this tank. There's no mirror. No need to say anything else. And this is one of the tanks of Josh that I love best because of his wet feeling. It has all theme, plants, perspective, reflection, atmosphere, maybe fishes. It's not his best work, but because it doesn't need it. The fishes in there are secondary, but this tank doesn't need big fish, doesn't need that the main point of the aquascape is fish, right? But it has an extraordinary wet status. Understand the connection. Now we are in the wet stage of the hobby in contest. We know to go underwater. Non-ordinary, new, something innovative. Every year, every judge of the EAPLC is praying for something new. But me as a judge, I understand it. Me as an aquascaper, I say, where is the new ideas? I am not able to find them, right? So, how to be different with a theme? If you find a new theme, something interesting, and you did it not bad, you're going to win. Developing a previous idea, this is exactly in the other side, right? But sometimes it's successful. We're going to talk about it. A new technique, maybe? I did it this year, twice. And original planting skills. Those two guys created a new theme. Before Bolinsky, nobody did that. After Bolinsky, almost all. My tank is almost the consequence of that tank, 7 years after, right? This absolutely new theme, but complex, not easy to understand. Also, going with new ideas is risky. If you are successful, you're going to win. But if not, you're going to be out of the top 27, even creating something great. I must say, I really don't understand why these two tanks are not in the top 27. But it's fair, because it's what the judges said. Maybe they didn't understood them. And these are two beasts of the aquascaping. Mr. Long Tran Juan from Vietnam. I feel it's the person who has helped me more in my life as an aquascaping. During years, we have been talking almost every day, 1 or 2 hours a day. He's from Vietnam. He also came to my wedding. Something that is created, and then you take the idea and try to do it better. Super risky, but sometimes successful. From 1st to 7, from 10 to 4, from 2 to 5, but still in the top 7. So it's another way, super risky, and you need to do it better than before. How I did it? You know, this is the main structure. You're going to see a video. Please take a look at how I achieve this. Please take a look at these are not big stones. They are really small ones. How I did it. Because I really wanted to create these feelings, curved like a cathedral. There's a scaffold, and then everything is glued in the scaffold. And remember, I am thinking about my atmosphere. I need plants on the top. Which kind of plants did everybody use? Plants that do not need soil. But I wanted to do something different on that. And I thought on rotalas. How can I help do it? I must say I made 100 mistakes before achieving the idea of the scaffold. I tried it 100 times without a scaffold. It was too straight, not curved, or crashing, falling down. I remember I threw to the bin more than 20 days of hardscaping until I said, okay, I need something to stabilize everything, and I create a scaffold because I remember I had this tower just with stones, but then I couldn't achieve how to place soil in there. So my idea, it was not going to be possible. I could place in there Hygrophila pinnatifida, maybe some Monte Carlo, but I wanted the reds, the oranges, and the yellows of Rotala. So this is how I achieve it, and in the next video we will go far away, how the scaffold was done. And I told you, I will never do it again. I will never go this way, but I have enjoying creating a different technique. I call this snake skin technique. Also, I tried to do a second similar technique, but in a different way. These three guys were extremely successful with the use of glass, with the use of mirror inside the tank. I know many people don't like it. Sure, I understand it. I know many people like it. It's just a technique, and it's allowed. There's nothing in the rules, so we can use it. Tanaka-san, first time I saw something like that. First time I saw this tank, I said, what the hell is that? I promise, I said, my God! I thought he was going to win, but that year there were amazing tanks. He went fourth. My dear colleague, Bernat Osta from Barcelona, this is the recreation of the garden of Famano in his home. And he did it really nicely, the use of that pond, because it's a pond what Amano-san have in his own home, right? He was the first to recreate a pond. That's why he was sixth. Maybe you like it more, less, but it's incredibly realistic, right? But yes, this is terrestrial, and these are not fishes. Seems like birds, but it was his idea, right? And Stephen Chung last year, what he did new, the reflection of the hardscape and the plants into this area, well, many places. Also using the mirror, but in another, we say it in Spanish, otra vuelta de tuerca. Otra vuelta de tuerca is something like going one step further. What I did, do you please remember the photo of the beach of the cathedrals? There was like a window, and there you can see many other structures. The tank is just 60 centimeters deep. If I have 3 meters, maybe I could achieve it. So I thought on this. Please take a look at the video and tell me what is that and that. How it was done? With a mirror. Not here, not there, just here in the back. This one has this angle. And what we are looking here, this and this, and take a look at the path. It seems it's continuing. In there, it's a mirror placed like this. And in here, I didn't want it the same feeling, because in here I want it dark. So that is why this mirror has not this angle, because I don't want to see this. It has this angle. So it gets like a ray of light and this great shadow. I really love it. I am so angry with myself that in my final EAPLC photo, this cannot be seen like that in this photo, in this video. This is my biggest mistake. You cannot see it in the EAPLC photo. And remember, the photo is the only that the judges have. You cannot explain them anything. Another way to use mirror that nobody has used before. In here. Coherent and balance. The balance must be achieved with volume. We talk about it. If here is bigger, but here we need to balance it, right? We talk also about shadow and light. We need the balance of shadow and lights. We need the balance of the colors. We need the balance of the plants. If you have here, you have to have it here. So please understand, we need balance, coherence in everything. So some ways to achieve it. Just do a cross, like this. Do I have it here? Yes. Do I have it here? Yes. Equally? Yes? Think about symmetry. It's not equally, but it's balanced? Perfect. You achieve it. Do black and white technique, because then you will avoid the colors, and then you will check, you will focus on structure. Then you will see another thing that your eyes are not used to see daily. You know, we get bored of our tanks because we see it daily, many hours a day. So finally, we cannot find mistakes. So this helps us to find that mistakes before the final photo. Light and shadow, we have talked a lot about it. It must be balanced. Or with coherence, maybe not balanced in both light, but in here there's an extraordinary nice contrast between this area and that area, and how it's changing the light, right? So it's balanced, I think so, but it's not symmetrical, right? And this is an absence of balance, right? This tank needs to much more plants, more maturation, more time. This is a super talented young guy from Spain, and he has also raised once an EAPLC top 27. He's doing great effort and he is growing quite fast, but he needs time to be much better, and he will achieve it. But this was a contest photo. I told to him, it's not, don't send it like this. Bring it with you when the tank is perfect in the timing. It's now the moment to do the photo. If it's not perfect, don't send it to the contest. That is another of my mates, another super talented guy from the south of Spain. But take a look at this area, and then take a look at this area. I love about the theme because this is clearly a mangrove, right? It's the name, it's the title, mangrove. I told Ismael, right, you did it perfect, mangrove, nothing else to think about. But take a look at what Stephen Chong said. Down region of this work is so beautiful. I had to say, it's this triangle. It's so amazing. But it must to match with the upper region. That region is just green and orange. There are too many elements, right? So we have this side, there is almost nothing. There is no balance because there is too many plants. And this comment helped a lot to our team to understand this. We don't have to have just healthy plants. We need that our plants must be in perfect balance with our structure. And in here, he lost all the huge work he did with driftwood. So this is another thing that we have learned. Last year, we are continuing, every day we learn something, and we learn thanks to the comment and the work of all these guys. Eight, quality. If you want to be in the top places, you cannot make any mistake. This is one of my tanks. I love this tank. I'm in love with the theme, with this kind of driftwood style, but I made hundreds of mistakes. It's just 2-3 years ago. First, the use of color is perfect, but not this magenta. I tried to do it thinking I want people to get focused in there. Also, it was a tribute to Masashi Onion tank done with stones that has a great magenta area. But nobody understood it. Too complex, maybe too different, maybe not correctly done. Nobody understood it, right? Also, red, magenta, so on. I'm a man, I don't know anything about colors. Green, and in the middle, black. What the hell is that? Is that coherence? Is that analog colors? Not at all. Another big mistake. And then I have some more other, maybe the third and biggest one is Where are the details? No detailing in the shadow. So I am not going to say anything else about this tank. I know there are many other things to talk about, but I got place number 42. But what I want to tell to you, you know how the EAPLC judges score? For all the fanatics, they know it. They just score to 0 to 100 points, their top 10. All the other tanks from 11 to 100, they are not going to give them scores. They are just place it in a classification. First, second, third, 100. The 100 has 1 point. First has 100 points, right? Number 25 has 75 points. Do you understand it? Great. Then just each judge take his top 10, and then they made a score from 0 to 100. And that score gets in the summatory to their placement. So it's mandatory, if you want to be in the top 7 or in the top 27, to achieve that many judges get you in his top 10. Because there's a huge difference, about 80, 90 or 100 points if you are 10 or 11. Why I told you this? This tank, on the first classification of the average of the judges, I got place 24. I was in top 27, then okay, it's my goal, top 27. But nobody got it in the top 10. I really think it's because of the mistakes. So from 24, I got finally 42 place. This is what I have tried to explain to you. Please check it. Also, this is a sentence and a question that Lontran told to me, Juan, please analyze. How many nice details can you see in your tank? As much as you have, as much as detailed is your work. Not for the first impression, not for the wow, but then if the judges stop and take a look at your tank, then you will find that your score will grow and grow if you have many details. And this is what I really focus on, detailing. And please remember, take a look at the last video that we were talking about where eye scanning and the rule of thirst. Do you remember I told you in the last video? Right. This is the area where mostly 41% of the viewers will focus first. Take it in mind to create in there the nicer details. That is why I told you I love to integrate my plants. I love to create many details. I love to analyze the light and the shadow. This is all about details, right? And it's all about passion, is what I like to do. If without details, I will not recognize my work. This is another of my teammates. I feel all of them are gonna hate me because I'm talking about some little mistakes. I love also this tank. It's the most natural underwater feeling of all the tanks from Spain this year. He has achieved a great position, 14 of the world. It's a masterpiece, but I am not going to see anything. I am going to read. General impression, it's high, but when I analyze the image in a bigger, I find many details that can be done better. Examples, the big drift boot, you are going to see it's too straight. Fissidance in the drift boot is not natural at all. Also, the sand is not clean. I also told you in the last video about this. The cleaning of the sand is so important for me. Can you see it? I am sure you didn't saw it at the beginning, but judges analyze is their work. Also, too much. Too much. I told Tommy in the last video, please, we are not looking for lines with huge quantity of moss. We need to do it as natural as possible. I learned it from here. Just some months ago, we are every day learning. We do not know anything. As much we learn, as much we understand, we have to keep learning. Also, the roots, I feel they are not natural at all. I love that chaos, but I feel for judges it's better to have something more refined. So, details. I must say, I feel this guy, if he creates next year a tank with his style, with his own style, with nice details, I am sure he will achieve the top 7 of any contest in the world. I am sure of it because he is so talented. Do you see the soil in the sand? It's mixing. Remember the last video? I don't like that. This is detail. This we are talking about quality. And just the best are the ones who are in the top places, usually, because luck exists. And finally, truthfulness, expectations. This is a tribute for Masashi Ono-san that came to my home. This guy beside him is my father. We spent an extraordinarily nice week. My father does not speak English, but also Masashi has a correct level of English, but they create a connection. I needed to do this tribute to him because I have used many of his photos, or because I really love him, and for me it's a real friendship with him. And I just want, for finishing, to give you these feelings about myself and share it with you all. You are an artist. Remember it, please. Dream on your memorable work. You are able to create a masterpiece. Assume it if you focus. Persevere, never give up. Do not stop thinking. Every step you make, every decision you take must be think. Before and after starting, please make yourself these 8 questions, and for sure, dream. But remember, the journey is not free. You need to work. What do you want to represent? What do you want to express? How can I achieve the impact in the beer? What kind of atmosphere do I want? How can I achieve the wet status? How could I differentiate from the others? It's my tank balance. How many details can I see? And maybe doing this, you are a little bit closer to your goals. And if not, you don't achieve it, don't you worry. I am sure you have enjoyed it a lot the way. And that's the most important, because this is a hobby. Don't measure your satisfaction by the result of a contest. There are aquariums that will remain in time, but they are not highly placed. That's happened. Never forget, this is just a hobby. Enjoy everything you learn and every mistake you make. Enjoy it and talk about it, for sure. It will help you to understand more things. Build your own world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Juan, so much for being here with us. Nice. And also, thank you so much for this great presentation that you gave us. And I hope that you, who stood with us until the end, have enjoyed and have learned something from him of how to create an impactful layout. And maybe you can beat Juan with the next IAPS.
I hope so. I need to work a lot because I didn't do anything yet, so yes, maybe they are going to beat me.
Maybe you can do it based on what he just taught you. And with that, we're concluding this week's video. In the next video, he's going to talk about how he built his own 2021 IAPLC tank. That's going to be a very interesting video. He's going to host that. So we'll see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe if you didn't do so yet. Hit that bell button to get notified, and hit that like button to give Juan some support. We'll see you next week.
Thanks so much.
Goodbye.
See you.
See ya.
We have it. We have it.
Yes.